Hi everybody, how are you doing today? This is Laura McCoy again at Hickory Knolls. We're going to try some really cool art things by looking at patterns in nature. So I'm going to give you a couple big words and I want you to explore and see what you can find. And then you've got a craft activity that's going to do one of the really cool science experiments in this kit. So you're going to try to combine some art, some nature, and get these things all together for some real exploration fun. So when we're looking at nature, again, I challenge you at the beginning to think about what is beautiful to you. So again, there's no wrong answer for this. Whatever you find beautiful in nature is the perfect answer for you. But there are some things that scientists have done to look at things that we find visually pleasing. So there's some stuff that we just kind of like because it looks right and it just has a good feel to it. So these might be some of the things that just kind of feel like really interesting parts of nature, and you might like them too. So the first thing is something called symmetry. And symmetry works when you divide something in half, it's the same on both sides. So there's some things that have perfect symmetry, where when you cut them in half and you take a look at both sides, they're exactly the same. There's some things in nature that you might have to rotate a little bit to be able to find where symmetry fits. Because if you take a look, we have 5 parts to our starfish. And those of you that have been working on your math and doing some division, that doesn't work to divide in half. But I bet you could take a look at a middle line and find a way to divide this in half. Our turtle shell has some different designs on it. And if we take a look right down the middle, we do have symmetry on both sides. So this is something else in nature. And a feathers design, it's not exactly symmetrical, but it might be something that has some qualities where half looks similar to the other side. So that's one way to be able to take a look at dividing things up. See if you can walk around, explore your backyard. If you used an imaginary pair of scissors and cut something in half, how would you make it look the same on both sides? Challenge for you too, take a look at your face. How do you divide? Which way would you cut to be able to look for symmetry on your own face? Another thing are something called fractals. And this one is kind of a scientific word for a zigzag pattern. If you've heard Elsa sing before, those frozen fractals all around, the patterns that the ice makes when it freezes, lightning follows fractals. There's lots of things in nature that follow repeating patterns, including this wasp nest. So there's different designs where you'd be able to see a repeating shape, a repeating way that things are patterned. And fractals are one of the ones that fits into that category. Now, I saved this one for last because it's got a really big word associated with it. And the first part is just the spiral word. This is our circle, where something turns around on itself. There's some that are pretty obvious, like inside of a shell, and you can see where it spins around on its parts. Take a look in your backyard. You might not find a seashell in your backyard, but as you're taking a walk, you might find a pine cone. And the way that the bottom of a pine cone moves and has its seeds attached follows a spiral pattern. Even in this fossil, this might be something you could find in your backyard. It has shells inside of it. So this all combined together shows us another way that we can find a pattern in nature. So I'm going to show you another picture that has some lines drawn on it. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I was never a huge math fan, but this is really cool math. I've always loved art. I've always loved science. And I didn't know that there was some math hidden in there that I must have just kind of liked. So there's a big word for this one. It's called a Fibonacci sequence, which is a really big word. And I'm just going to show you this outline drawing, there's a math equation. If we just keep adding and adding and adding the one number before to the next number, to the next number, to the next number, you're on summer break. You don't need to know that whole thing. But it's just kind of a cool thing because when we put it into a design, we might see something that has the same math on a really small scale to a gigantic scale of a hurricane to an even more immense scale of the universe. So some of these things that we took a look at, from our fractals to our spirals and our symmetry, are way that artists and scientists work together and think alike. So whether your favorite subject in school is math, or your favorite subject is science, or your favorite subject is art, I bet there's a little piece of each of these things that you might enjoy. So you're going to get a chance to explore, and I'm going to read a story to you about some of the spirals so that you can look for one of the things that I found pretty interesting that let me know I like math a whole lot more than I thought I did.